Before Spike Lee could direct this movie, he had to do the right thing.
Welcome back to HIVEMIND Unlimited.
And welcome to another episode of our movie series, How Did It Age? Where we watch older movies and reevaluate them with modern context. Today's film, chosen by you, our Patreon and YouTube members, is Spike Lee's 1989 film, Do the Right Thing.
That's right, Riley. And we thought it was timely. We did take a week off here.
Yes.
And it was the week the Knicks won the championship. And I was like, oh, they voted Do the Right Thing. How perfect is that? Now, in the middle of Europe's biggest heat wave ever, it's even more timely.
Temperature is definitely rising.
Oh, you said it.
Tell us a little bit about this film, Graydon.
Like Riley said, directed by Spike Lee in 1989. It stars Danny Aiello, Italian name, Ozzie Davis, Ruby Dee, Richard Edson, Giancarlo Esposito, Spike Lee, Bill Nunn, John Turturro, John Savage, and Rosie Perez in her film debut.
John Savage, let me just point this out. Obviously, that stuck out when I saw it in the credits. I was like, John Savage, that's 2/3 of my name. I looked it up, and he's a fake-ass Savage. His real last name is not Savage. It was a stage name. His name is John. John Youngs, I think, or something.
Boo.
It's a whole bummer. It's not great, but he is an awesome guy. He was an activist in South Africa, anti-apartheid activist, and worked closely with Spike Lee and many others throughout his long career.
So, fake-ass Savage, good-ass dude.
By all accounts, yeah.
Okay,
From
cool.
what I could see on the internet, I did very little research. He's in this movie for like 3 minutes. His name is Clifton, and he's wearing a Larry Bird shirt.
Yep. We got a 7.9 on IMDb, a 4.4 on Letterboxd, a 92% on Rotten Teas. And Roger Ebert's first paragraph about this movie is one of the most beautiful things he's ever written. I took a small excerpt from it. Most movies remain up on the screen. Only a few penetrate your soul. In May of 1989, I walked out of the screening of the Cannes Film Festival with tears in my eyes.
Wow.
Yeah, his first paragraph is like the best thing he's ever written about this. He absolutely loves it.
Yeah, he gave it 4 out of 4.
4 out of 4 is right. This has the legendary Ernest Dickerson on cinematography. He worked with Spike on 7 films and went on to be the director of a bunch of other great movies, including Juice, Surviving the Game, Demon Knight, Bulletproof, Bones, Never Die Alone, Double Play. There you go. Riley, do you have like a sick-ass, kind of funny breakdown of this?
I do have a breakdown of this.
Okay.
First, I want to ask you, had you seen this film before, and when did you first see it?
I had, and I have, and I will say that I saw it probably for the first time a few years ago.
Nice. I think I saw it for the first time about a year ago.
Oh, nice.
And was not committing it to memory, like I was going to have to talk about it. So revisiting it with an analytical eye of being like, I'm going to go on camera and talk about this movie, it made it stick a little bit more.
For sure.
Great movie. But here's a little synopsis. Mookie is a young father living in the tight-knit, predominantly black neighborhood of Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. It's a hot summer Sunday in the late 1980s, and racial tension in the neighborhood is rising just like the temperature. Mookie works at Italian-owned, family-run Sal's Famous Pizzeria, across the street from a new fruit and vegetable stand owned and operated by Korean immigrants who are new to the United States. Sal and his 2 sons aren't from the neighborhood, but his pizzeria has been there for 25 years and is considered a community staple. When local resident Buggin' Out comes into the pizzeria for a slice, he asks Sal why he only has pictures of Italian-Americans up on his wall of fame and demands black representation on the wall. When Sal refuses, Buggin' Out decides to organize a boycott of Sal's. He teams up with Public Enemy superfan Radio Raheem, who is also fed up with Sal telling him to turn his music down and charging $2 for extra cheese. Mookie doesn't support the boycott and consistently tries to de-escalate tensions between Sal's and the rest of Bed-Stuy. Tensions reach a boiling point when Buggin' Out and Radio Raheem confront Sal, who smashes Raheem's boombox with a baseball bat, which sparks a massive brawl outside of the pizzeria. The police arrive and murder Radio Raheem in front of the entire community. When Sal tries to deny any responsibility, Mookie throws a trash can through the front window of the pizzeria, which incites a riot, and the building is burned to the ground.
Burn it down!
Yep, so that's a little bit of what happens. Obviously, there's a lot of subtext. This movie is not only about what happens, but why it happens, and it raises a lot of questions, and it prominently features and kind of delves into the ideologies and teachings of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X.
Yes.
All All right, lots of quotables in this one, Graydon. What are some of your favorite lines?
Well, we open up with Samuel L. Jackson as Mr. Love Daddy on the radio.
Mr. Senor Love Daddy to you.
He is just a mouthful of rhyming, suave jargon radio guy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know how much I love that sort of like radio banter thing. So I was getting a huge kick out of it. I was like, how is he doing this?
Yeah.
Like, it's so much stuff.
That's the double truth, Ruth.
And then he gives the triple truth.
Yeah,
at the end
triple truth.
to Ruth. Oh, it is awesome.
The weather for today is hot is a great line. And then he says, Mr. Love Daddy doing the nasty to your ears.
He's always talking about the weather in such a cool way too. Just like it's hot outside, but cool down here. Like he's like always doing stuff like that. It's great.
Later on, I'll just skip to it while we're talking about Samuel L. Jackson. I love when he does roll call.
Oh, I wrote down the entire roll call.
Okay,
it is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's kind of jumping ahead in what we're going to talk about, I assume, with this film. But like when you get that roll call, it did strike me as like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is like 100 black artists who were just dominating music at the time and meant so much to so many people that I was like, they just kept going. I was like, oh man, it's a very powerful thing that he's able to go for that long and say that many important artists. And there's still more he could have named.
And you know all of them.
Yeah. There's not anybody you hear where you're like, who's that?
Who's that niche artist? You're like, giant.
Right. And I grew up a white guy in the suburbs of Toledo, Ohio, and every single one of those artists, I have heard their music and it means something to me.
Yeah. And I grew up a breakdancer in the 80s in Brooklyn.
Right. And so it means even more to you. I mean,
big time, brother. We were flipping Wayne Shorter and kicking around. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. You grew up with Keith Sweat. Is that correct?
Keith Sweat. That's right. Well, I like to say he grew up with me.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there.
You're a giant as well.
Thank you. I love when DeMayer goes into the Korean carry-out or whatever, and they don't have Miller High Life. And then he's like, grab another beer. You get some Miller High Life in this funky joint. And then he gets the Miller Lite and he hates it.
Hates it so much.
Oh, yeah. I love the old like tab, the way they like crack him. And then, the mayor is awesome.
DeMayer's a very interesting character because he's very anti-violence, very meek, and he is like, he's a drunk.
Right.
He's known around there as an alcoholic, kind of like, he's always on the street. He's very disheveled, all of these things. But he's like, I'm not bothering anybody.
Right.
Like, he wants the best for everybody, and everybody kind of has this respect for him that's a little bit convoluted, possibly.
Yeah, he's a bit of a sage in town. Like, he's the homeless guy with, like, no eyes that, like, tells you something wise that you've never seen before type deal.
Right, and he delivers the famous line in the namesake for the movie, do the right thing. But he also, he does that when it matters most.
Yeah.
And is willing to face the social consequences of it. Like when he tackles Eddie to the ground to save him from getting hit by a car, when he's chasing the ice cream truck.
Yeah.
Like things like that, you kind of get this consistent thing with DeMayer throughout it. At the beginning, you almost question what his deal is going to be.
Yeah, you're a little annoyed with him, and so is Mookie when he's on route to deliver a pizza. He goes, "Doctor?" He calls everyone doctor, which I love. Mookie's like, "I can't, Mayor. I can't. I got a pizza to deliver." And he goes, "Always do the right thing." And Mookie goes, "Got it? I'm gone." Got it?
Got it? I'm gone.
Yeah, I love how Spike Lee
He's like,
delivers
that's
that.
it?
Yeah, that's it. Got it. I'm gone. I love when Buggin' Out's trying to get the boycott going and Mookie won't do it. And he goes, "Mook, stay black." Buggin' Out is like the over-the-top activist who like wants representation everywhere. Like he wants black people spend the money in South, so he wants pictures of Muhammad Ali or whoever up on the wall, any representation. Also, I got to give a shout out to how Danny Ayo's character Sal says pizzeria.
Yeah.
It's Sal's famous pizzeria.
Pizzeria.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Supposed to be De Niro.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Would have been a lot different of a movie.
Yeah. It's Danny Aiello, I believe.
Aiello.
I think that's how I've always said it, but I don't know.
Aiello.
His interactions throughout this movie are fantastic.
Yeah, he's really, really great.
I do want to just say this movie does such a fantastic job of making it feel hot.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know that is obviously something it's gotten a lot of praise for, but just like where it's hot and where it's dark, I think that contrast is very, like, anytime they're inside, like when Mookie goes to see, his girlfriend and his child, and they're inside of that apartment, it's so dark in there because it's so hot and sunny outside that you get the idea that you're in the shade, but it's still, you're sweating. And then to see them, turn the fire hydrant into a sprinkler, there's so many moments of that kind of like relief from it.
Yeah.
And it's told so well throughout the movie of like when those moments are happening where they're getting a relief from the heat, they're also getting a relief from the tension.
Right.
And when that goes away, the tension is back. So like, you know, they're playing in the streets, having fun, spraying water on each other. Then somebody comes along with their antique car and is like, you know, don't spray it over here.
An Italian guy too.
And then they do it, and then all the fun stops. Cops show up. They don't do that anymore. They're like, no more fire hydrant. They're screwing it back on.
Yeah, that scene of like the big muscle cop slowly tightening it and like threatening everyone's like, if you open this again, I'll be back and you'll have to deal with me. That's like the relief from oppression of the heat, how Spike Lee displays that throughout the movie of like the heat being oppression and the oppression of like the community and how those are like paired is super powerful and really, really great. And then it ends in flames.
It ends in flames, and then it ends with a conversation at the end of the movie. You know, Sal says to Mookie, it's supposed to be even hotter today.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, like after what happened last night, the tensions are even higher.
Yeah.
The, you know, the police presence, all of these things, like the way that the heat just plays such a role in what the movie's telling you about tensions in that neighborhood. It's very
really
powerful.
Great. After they spray the guy in the convertible is one of my favorite exchanges of lines when he's talking to the cops soaking wet. He's like, what were their names? The cop is like kind of being a dick. Like he knows this guy is like doesn't want to file a report, doesn't know anything about it. He's like, I don't know, fucking Mo and Joe. He's like, all right, Mo and Joe what? He goes, Mo and Joe Black. And he goes, all right, so they're brothers. And then he goes, yeah, I don't know if they were fucking brothers. He's like all pissed. It's just so funny. Like, all right, Mo and Joe.
Yeah. Oh, one line I did forget from the beginning of the movie that just always sticks with me is when I think it's Pino. he says, I hate this job. I detest it like a sickness. He goes, you detest it like a sickness?
Yeah,
He's like, I detest it like a sickness.
That conversation between Sal and Pino. He's like, you said you detest it like a sickness. And Pino goes, I didn't say that.
I never said that.
He's like, I heard you. And they're like, it's like so like, man, like Italian dad and son back and forth.
And you get such a good idea of like, you know, the hierarchy there, the dynamic between the family where Vito's got his headphones in. He tells Pino to do something. Pino tells Vito.
Yeah.
Vito's the alpha.
No, Pino's the alpha.
Pino's the whatever.
Yeah.
I mix up their names so much.
Yeah, Vito's like the punk
John
kid brother.
Turturro is the alpha.
Yeah.
And his brother is kind of like, you know, he plays coy to him.
And he's down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's like cool with everybody in town and has no problems or qualms or doesn't harbor like any like racist feelings.
Right. Much like Sal is a very interesting character in that way because, you know, he definitely displays some racist behavior and ideologies, but at a certain point he seems to have his heart in the right place where he's like, I fed this community they grew up on my food. Like, do you understand how important that is? How much that makes me feel?
Yeah.
And he's like, I've never had a problem with anybody in this community.
He says they're good people in that conversation with Turturro, Pino, and Vito.
It's so tough. Dude.
Yeah, and then Sal's character gets more complicated later on when there's the scene where like he obviously feels romantic emotions towards Jade, who is Mookie's sister, and like loves her in a paternal way, but it definitely crosses a line, and you get this shot of like Mookie and Pino kind of just staring blankly.
And they're like looking to the side.
Yeah, and it's almost like, oh God, like here he goes again, this old spiel to Jade. And he's, no. You're gonna get something very special. And then he's like, Vito, clean up a table for Jade. And like he pulls out all the stops. And then Mookie after that scene is like, I don't want you spending any time at Sal's. It's a little creepy.
Especially when he says to her, he's like, I hope you don't think I'm a jerk, but you've got the biggest eyes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like he's being super
He's
creepy.
laying it on thick.
Yeah. And then he's like, Mookie kind of calls him out on that. And then he says, he's like, I should kick your ass just on principle for even thinking that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sal's character is very complicated and in a lot of ways is the center of the movie. Everything's orbiting around the pizzeria and like he gets pushed, you know what I mean, in moment by moment and continuously shows that like he's peaceful, he's just running his business. Things are going to be his way, but he's like cool with the community. And then we get the final blow up. Other lines I love, you brought up the John Savage scene. Yeah. That is just one of the coolest scenes. Martin Lawrence and his gang and Bugging Out, they're so hyper and like ready to back each other up and like talk shit that everyone. They have a couple moments. The mayor one is funny too. A guy in a Larry Bird jersey runs over fucking out sneakers. They confront him on the steps and he goes, "Who told you to walk in my neighborhood? Who told you to walk on my side of the street?" He's like, "I own this brownstone." And they go, "Who told you to buy a brownstone?" Yeah. Just like, they won't take anything for an answer. And then their like collective reaction to John Savage like going into his house, they're like, "Ow!"
Yeah, I mean, it is funny that you've got, Bird running over Jordan in a certain way.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Go back to Boston." And he's like, "I grew up in Brooklyn." And they hate that
like, "Oh!"
because he's wearing the Larry Bird thing. But I did say, I wrote down, it's very funny to me that they're doing that. The first scene in the entire movie is Mookie in a Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan jersey. And the scene after that, I don't think it's bugging out, but it's one of the guys in that crew is wearing a Magic Johnson Lakers jersey. Yeah. They're in New York, wearing jerseys of these other teams or whatever.
Well, and then Mookie's second scene when he goes to work, he throws on the Jackie Robinson jersey.
Well, yeah, he's wearing Jackie Robinson most of it.
So like instantly you have the jerseys of like these major black sports stars and then the one white guy in the neighborhood in the Larry Bird jersey. It's just awesome.
Yeah, it is funny that they have this big uproar, but it makes a lot of sense because,
that's how
it's what Larry Bird represented at that time and still does to an extent.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very funny thing for that to be the big issue. And he's like from Brooklyn, owns a brownstone, and is wearing a Larry Bird jersey.
It's perfect.
Whatever.
Yeah. You get the OGs when you meet them. I love them. Sitting under the umbrella. Their banter between each other is like, you could have written down every line, but the fact that the one OG's name is just Sweet Dick Willie is funny enough, but then the one guy starts to hate on him and he goes, "Whose mom would name their kid Sweet Dick Willie?" And you're like, so this isn't a nickname? He was named Sweet Dick
and he's
Willie?
Like, "What'd I tell you about talking about my mom?"
Yeah, they get pissed and they're like, no one was talking about your mom. They like instantly, they're like, "Yeah, don't poke old Sweet Dick."
Yeah, I love also when Bugging Out comes over and tries to get them to boycott. Sweet Dick Willie says to him, he goes, "You want to boycott someone? You ought to start with the goddamn barber that fucked your head up."
Classic old guys being like, "Yep, that looks terrible."
Yeah, it's also funny, like they have a lot of debates that the movie is kind of having and you as a viewer are having of like, should, the Korean immigrants in this neighborhood, should they be able to open a business and run a business less than a year after they immigrated to the United States in this neighborhood? And then some of them are like, "You immigrated here too." You know, like they're kind of like having those conversations for them and being like, "I like Sal."
Yeah.
And somebody, other people don't like Sal.
And I think even like every era that's defined by certain social unrest, you have the older generation that's kind of like less energetic about the things because seemingly these guys, were 60s Freedom March. They were there for MLK and in that like actual moment. And now it's 1989 and they see the repeating of the same things and they're kind of like, well, don't go about things this way. This is worth the effort, this isn't. And then I feel like there's like an inward looking criticism with those guys where they're like, "Why don't you go open up a business?" Like he kind of like poses that on his friends. He's like, "These Koreans came over here for 1 year, open up a business, and we're just sitting around going to the businesses."
Yeah.
And so there's like some self-criticism there. They're shitting on the younger generation, but they all have like the same, because they kind of like lead the charge in a way during when the riot breaks out. They're on the front lines being like, "Been here, done this. Fuck you, Sal."
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with Mookie. Throughout the movie, Mookie's main motivation is just money. He's like, "I need to make my money. I'm keeping the peace." He acts as like a bridge between everybody in Bed-Stuy and Sal's Pizzeria, which is a community staple in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And then, when things go awry and like Mookie's the one to throw the trash can through, kind of showing that there's always been a line to cross. It's just about when that line is getting crossed, and until that, keeping the peace and keeping the community safe in a certain way, because they understand what comes with, a big act of aggression or violence or whatever that is. It's not something that is, they have to reserve that for a time where it's justified.
Yeah. The last line I have down is just right as he grabs the trash can, Mookie yells, "Hey!" and then throws it through. Just like that's such like a Radio Raheem delivers that speech like through the fourth wall kind of, but also to Mookie. And then the proclamation of like choosing hate in that moment. Is sick.
I do love in that, that Radio Raheem speech, just the end of it just being left hand hate KO'd by love.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
It's
so awesome. It's a legendary scene. DeMayer has a lot of great little gems in here. One being the, the do the right thing thing. But I really like when he's asked by the police about the thing, and he says, "Doctor, those that'll tell don't know, and those that know won't tell."
It's like a collective eye roll. Everybody's like, all right, Jesus.
But it is great.
I mean, it's awesome. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the mayor's character summed up, is like, you roll your eyes at him because he looks and delivers things in a certain way. But like upon further review, you're like, actually, it's like wise as all hell.
Now, I kind of look at the first chapter of this movie as being a lot of vignettes that kind of illustrate the dynamic of the community.
Yeah.
And I feel like the thing really starts with, one, the conversation about the Wall of Fame. But then secondly, I think the movie really kicks in when Mookie and Pino have that discussion about Prince, Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, who's your favorite athlete? Who's your favorite actor? He's like, oh, Eddie Murphy. Like that conversation. And then the whole thing about they're more than black.
Yeah.
They're bigger than that in a certain way. And he says kind of the same thing to Mookie at one point. He's kind of like, you're the only one I don't hate here. You're different.
Yeah.
You know? And it is, I think that's when the narrative really starts in that movie. And that's a very, very like powerful scene to then jump to those zooming in shots of everybody just barraging slurs at each other.
Yeah, kind of the internal dialogue of the angry individual in any setting.
Right.
It's like, and that's like, Spike Lee is so crazy for those, like, just the writing, and like, there's like those weird little Dutch angles, like everybody's at like this weird little tilt, and just the directly into the camera is so cool. Mm-hmm. And I also want to just like give the tap to, you said earlier, like how the whole movie feels hot. Like they occupied this street and repainted like crack houses and dilapidated buildings red and orange, and everything outside is the color of heat, and no one wears blue in this whole movie. Oh. All the costume design is like, the most blue is on the Dodgers.
Dodger
jersey.
blue, yeah.
And that's like it. Everything else is red, orange, yellow, very bright, hot colors. And even in a lot of the shots that are from the street towards like Sal's or in Sal's with the oven going, they would hold sternos near the camera so heat waves would like blow across.
Yeah.
And so the attention to detail and making that oppressive heat feel real is like so good.
And you get the sense with those, like, obviously very iconic shots, very brave of Spike Lee, I think, to put that in there. But you get the sense that it's like, this is what people are really saying.
Right.
And I like the idea of like, when it's showcasing that, they're all alone. You know what I mean? Like they're talking directly to a camera because this is what they're saying when those other people aren't around.
Or just in their head.
Right. Yeah. And I think that is like, it's very stark after you see that conversation of like real racial tension conversation happening between two main characters in the movie. You then get like, this is what the community is saying about each other. Even the cops get one.
Right.
Where they're going at people.
Yeah.
You know?
I laughed when you brought up that scene because he goes through your movie star, athlete, and then he gets to musician, and Pino goes, you know I'm a Bruce guy.
Yeah.
You know I'm a big Bruce guy. Yeah, he's like, shut up.
He's like, no, it's Bruce. It's Bruce.
Bruce.
And he's like, it's either Prince or Michael Jackson, and you know that. Like, I know you're a big Prince fan. And he's like, it's Bruce.
That is very funny.
He's trying to defend himself by picking one white celebrity that he looks up to.
Yeah. And then, they even have that conversation. Mookie mentions that, like, Pino's hair, like, is tighter than his.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, you know what they say about, like, Southern Italians?
Right.
He's like, look at your hair, man. We are the same.
he's like, do you want to be black? And he's like, oh my, like, he's like, are you kidding me? He's like laughing at it.
He's like, I've been doing some reading. He goes, oh, you read now.
Yeah, they're still going at each other. Yeah. Like, they're clearly like friendly in a certain sense, but.
Well, they'd probably grown up together at this point.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention when they first show the three old guys sitting outside, the opening conversations about the melting of the polar ice caps.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. He's like, it's hot and these polar ice caps are going to melt and every place that isn't water is going to be water. And the other two are like, what the fuck are you on about?
And the other conversation they have is about Mike Tyson, who is from that neighborhood. Or, I mean, he's from Brooklyn. I don't know if he's from Bed-Stuy specifically, but I love the macho thing that an old guy will have where he's like, I would say that to Mike Tyson's face. Like, I would beat up Mike Tyson.
Yeah, me? I'm Sweet Dick Willie.
Best fighter in the world. I got him.
The Puerto Ricans in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they're playing. they're sitting there like they're drinking like a different beer. They're all together. They're like talking about samba and they're like super energetic.
Yeah.
And then when Radio Raheem walks by, they have the radio battle. It's like, oh, you think you get down like that? And like the balance of audio there is good. At first, Radio Raheem comes in and like takes over theirs, blasts the Hispanic music, kind of takes over, but you can hear both going on. And then Radio Raheem's just got that extra level.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like that nod of like, you win this time. But then as he's walking away, they're like, yeah, you punk ass. Like they start talking their shit as he walks away.
Right. But I do think that also is just like, there's subtext there of like, this is the soundtrack of the neighborhood.
Right.
This is like what actually runs the neighborhood is this sound, this culture.
Yeah.
You know?
And Raheem's character is just like, he's so proud of his culture that like he's imposing it on everyone and everywhere and everything that he does, and like isn't doing that intentionally. Like he wants to come in and make it loud at Sal's.
Yeah.
And he only wants to play Public Enemy. That's it.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to listen to anything else.
Yeah, they're like, you're wearing that track out? And he's like, it's what I like.
Yeah.
This is what we're listening to.
And Sal's, I think it's intentional that he plays no music there. Like, it's an empty space in a certain way.
Yeah,
it's
this
like,
is a pizza place.
Right, this is pizza, and that's all you get. But don't bring your music in here.
Right.
I do think there's a little subtext there, too, of like, you can come eat my food, but you can't be yourself all the way.
Yes, exactly. There's like it's like a treaty of sorts.
Yeah. I do want to say really quick, similar to the conversation that Sweet Dick Willie and those guys are having, the conversation that Mookie has about Dwight Gooden and Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. It's like a normal conversation that people have about who's the best baseball player or whatever. It struck me as like Roger Clemens was around for so long.
I thought the same thing.
1989, I was like, dude, he was like amazing in 2002.
Yeah.
Like he was amazing for a really long time.
Yeah, I mean I feel like for a pitcher to have a 15-year career is...
I think it might have been 20-something, though.
Yeah, he might have pitched till like 08.
Because I do remember when he played for the Astros, his ERA was like the best of any player, and he was so late in his career.
Yeah.
But I grew up watching so much Roger Clemens baseball and him being like one of the guys that I was like, he was doing it in 1989? Like,
yeah, I mean, think about it. Like you could watch a movie from like 2006 now, and someone could be like, Clayton Kershaw is the best ace, and he just won a World Series last year.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
He's like that's a long time pitcher too.
We were not alive when this movie was made, and it did strike me as like, I forgot how much of a cultural phenomenon Michael Jordan was before he won his rings.
Yeah.
Like before he won 6 in the 90s, he was already considered like, it reminded me of being a fan of LeBron when I was growing up, of like there was, those 7 years before he won a ring where everybody was wearing his jerseys and saying he was the best basketball player ever.
It's the shoes, man.
Yeah, the shoes helped for sure, but
and just like the dawn of hip hop kind of taking over and people wearing jerseys and shoes, I feel like was such a big, and he was the face of that obviously because Magic was a Converse athlete and no one was wearing his shoes.
Right. And I think it's also intentional that at the very end of the movie, Sal is sitting with his burnt down pizzeria and he's wearing Jordans.
Yeah.
Like that's intentional.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody's wearing Jordans.
Yeah.
It's not,
The bugging out 4s, they got to name a colorway that and then do like his outfit.
Right.
It's probably too far gone. Anyway, the story of right hand, left hand, most iconic scene probably in this movie is great. Spike Lee showing that he's a cinephile. The first half of that monologue is from The Night of the Hunter, which is like a 1955 noir film. Spike Lee always does that. Like he can make something that's so of the times. This is how people talk. This is how things look. Here's a tip of the cap to a 1920s Japanese film that I love. Like he has a way of like transposing or interpolating art from different times and different cultures and showing that he can use that voice kind of to like explain the current day situation. Yeah. Which I love. It doesn't need to be in there, but he does those things and it does add like a little extra depth to it.
I think part of the reason that this movie is so impactful is because there's multiple ways to watch it depending on how you were raised, what culture you're a part of, and what questions come to mind while watching it are kind of steeped in that. It's kind of like hard to escape that. Yeah. I know Spike Lee has said that the only people who ever ask him if Mookie did the right thing when he threw the trash can are white people. Yeah. And it's like, while watching it, I understand how people ask that question, but I think the only takeaway that I had is just like he had no choice, and if that's what you're focused on in that moment, that definitely is something you have to like inspect.
Yeah,
it's
for
because
sure.
like a man just lost his life to police brutality. And if you think like the throwing the trash can through the window was like uncalled for, you're thinking about property and not thinking about human life. I also think that the other part of it is like Malcolm X talks about violence, and they show this quote at the end, but like the way that he talks about violence is like violence as a form of self-defense isn't even violence.
No, it's intelligent.
It's intelligence.
Yeah.
And I do think that people look at like threats of violence as being like imminent threats of physical violence. I do think that self-preservation and preservation of legacy and memory is just as important. And I think what they're doing in that moment is they know the residents of Bed-Stuy, specifically the black community, know that justice is not coming. And so they're making noise for the memory of a beloved figure in their community, Radio Raheem, who just lost his life. It's not about Sal in that moment. It's not even about Sal's Pizzeria. It's really just about like
Raheem,
they had to make a commotion for somebody who just lost their life because the only way to get attention, and attention is half of what's due in that moment. They needed to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Spike Lee also talks about the other white guy theory is that the justification of Mookie as the protagonist throwing that trash can to protect Sal. Have you heard that theory?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that too.
People are like, yeah, he did that so they didn't kill Sal. That's smart.
I don't think he's protecting Sal in that moment. I think what he's doing is, you know, what has been his motivation this entire film has been money. He says it himself. Like he opts out of a lot of, you know, conflict throughout the movie by being like, I'm just trying to get paid, just trying to get money, just trying to get paid. He's destroying his source of that. Obviously, there's a threshold for Mookie as a character of keeping the peace. He oversteps that and starts this thing. But the biggest thing is like when that first happens, when Radio Raheem and Sal are in that brawl and the police show up, you have the instinct already, and that's just from, you know, culture and growing up in America, is that the police are there to protect Sal.
Yeah.
They're there to protect Sal, and they're there to protect any non-black person in that community.
And the business.
And that's what they're there to do. And so like you already have this like thing that looms over the entire movie, which is that the police are not there to protect anybody who actually lives there.
Yeah.
And I think that is why, you know, they destroy that business, because that is not justice, but it's something.
Yeah.
There's nothing coming that's going to save, that's going to bring Raheem back. There's nothing that's going to keep that community safe. And so what they do is like a funeral in a way. The burning of Sal's is like a funeral. And you know.
And then they, you know, are quick to shout out the people that have lost their lives to other NYPD officers, like in the real world too.
Yeah. I mean, the movie's dedicated to those people too at the end.
I also want to say in that scene of like when the firemen show up, we talked about like how water and the relief of the oppression of the heat, how Spike Lee flips that on its head. And when you see water being used as like a weapon or a deterrent of violence or whatever, a tool of violence at the same time, a deterrent of property destruction. I thought that is like such a powerful image because obviously we've seen during like the 1960s civil rights marches and stuff, cops famously in the South, you know, spraying black people with fire hoses, and to see that in this film after getting this joyful scene earlier of the breaking of the fire hydrant and relief from the heat, but now the water is strong and with the fire there and the blasting of people with that to get them away from the building that's like a really, really powerful scene.
Yeah, when it's in the hands of the community, it's a source of joy, and when it's in the hands of people that are outside of the community and not there to protect it, it becomes a weapon. And also, the only thing they ever do sometimes destroy or damage property. Throughout the entire film, that's the only thing they ever do. There's no violence inflicted by the community on anybody else. It is just on property. Like, they fuck up a dude's antique car. That's the worst thing they do. You know?
There's a couple scenes before the ride I want to just mention. When the mayor tackles Eddie when he's laying there, the car behind him just has a lobster on it, like right in the front, instead of like a car logo. It's kind of in place of like antlers.
Right.
There's just a big lobster on a car. And I wonder if like anybody's ever looked into that, or like why Spike Lee chose to put a lobster on that car.
That's got to be a reference.
It has to be.
Has to be a reference.
Because it is like very out of place.
Right.
It's just like a big lobster stuck to the front of a car. I was like, what the fuck is that about?
Yeah.
I'd never noticed it till this watch through. I think we need to talk about the Ice Cube scene. Too,
yeah, for
because
sure. Yeah.
that is, much has been talked about that since this movie. It's Rosie Perez's first movie. That scene's edited really weird. Some people say for the artistic choices of Spike Lee. Rosie Perez has admitted to crying her way through that scene because of Spike Lee's direction and where he wanted to take that scene. And after their first kiss, and once the ice cube comes out, her face is like just completely gone. There's a big scene with her boobs in it. This isn't like an ongoing thing. Like they've seemingly are like friendly now, and she's laughed about it in interviews and stuff. But she did say that being my first movie, not really knowing where that scene was going, and Spike Lee being the director and co-starring in that scene, taking it to this place, and then it kind of becoming one of the more iconic scenes of this movie is kind of like a complicated history with this movie that has a lot to do about racial oppression, and then there's still the misogyny element at play here. Rosie Perez is awesome, and it goes on to have a crazy, great career. Because I've seen this movie maybe 3 times, and I always think that first kiss is like, there's like a lag, or I have a bad stream, because it plays it twice. And it's Spike Lee just didn't get enough like in that scene and wanted to like emphasize the intimacy of it. So he was like, showed that kiss like back to back like that.
Right. It seems like an editing mistake when you're watching it.
It does,
because it's the same exact thing.
Yeah, same exact thing.
Right in a row.
Yeah, you're like, what the hell is that all about?
Right.
Hector and the mom too in the kitchen just sounding off on Spike Lee. It's a very strange scene, but yeah, I just wanted to say that I never knew any of that like details about it until this study through of it.
Thank God for kneecaps.
Yeah. Thank God for wrists.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's weird, but I just kind of, I'm not in the business of, I hate when people say like unnecessary scene. I'm
right.
Like,
yeah.
You know, Spike Lee is the one who can say whether a scene is necessary. I do think the ice cubes in that moment represent relief the same way.
Right.
Heat versus cold throughout the entire movie represents something. It's a little weird. Like,
it's a little weird.
It is kind of a detour, it feels.
Yeah. And there are like, outside of Jade, there's like no female character of consequence in this film.
Right.
And this is like a strange detour to just like make a literal shrine out of the female figure and just be like, we know it's hot and music and stuff, but ladies are hot. Ladies look good.
I don't think that's even what it's supposed to mean necessarily, or like what it's about. Mookie doesn't talk very much about having a child. You get almost the sense that a lot of people in that community don't know that he has a child. He very seldom sees the child. And I don't know what that exactly is supposed to mean within the overall thing, but it's like, I think it's something about community and that being like outside of his community and how much he is dedicated to making money and being a part of Bed-Stuy, that you get the sense that there's like, it's almost like he's going somewhere else to do something.
Yeah.
You
and
know?
She does give that line when he says, trust me. She says, Mookie, last time I trusted you, we had a son. It's apparent that it was like an unplanned pregnancy. And then, if we get to the riot, which we talked about, and then the final scene that you've spoken a little about, I do love, he throws the money at him. Yeah. And it's 5, and he does the $500. He's a rich man. Mookie only picks up 3 and says, I owe you 50.
Right.
And then they kind of stand there and they have a standoff for a bit.
You take the money. You take the money.
Yeah, and then Mookie takes it anyway, and then leaves, which is, I like that decision that he does do that. Yeah. Like he doesn't remain, I don't know, altruistic or whatever, and he's like obviously fed up. He starts the riot, but he's like, all right, fuck it. I tried. I'm out of here. I'll take my money.
I do think that Danny Aiello is fantastic in this movie as Sal. I feel like he juggles a lot. Yep. And you get the sense also that performance is something because there's a heart to it, but there's also an unlikability to it. And you kind of get the sense that even a trusted character in outside of his community, kind of like not a parasite to the community, but somebody who's been there for a really long time, who seems to have his heart in the right place, can also use the language of the oppressor in a moment of rage or a moment of like frustration or whatever that is. That I think is important that is shown before the whole riot breaks out.
Yeah, I have him down to, you focus on the more like exciting characters or like whatever, the people of the community. And then this time I was more focused on Danny Aiello's. And as a white guy watching it, I'm like, yeah, he's down. Like, he feeds the community. He likes it. He's like preaching to his son Pino that like, no, don't be like this. Like, look at what this community has given us. Look at what we've given them. It's symbiotic. Right. And like, I found myself being like, you root for him for a second, but then you see the peeling of the layers kind of come back only for Italian Americans on the wall. He doesn't want no concessions there. Right. He won't even entertain the thought. It's my pizzeria, not yours.
And there's hints in that too when he's talking to his son where he's like, if your friends make fun of you, those aren't your real friends. Right. They aren't the ones putting money in your pockets. Yeah. So money is still a huge incentive to Sal. Like where Sal's like, I like this community because they pay me. Yes. You know, like, and that's not a good reason to love a community, is because they give you money. But
and then you get the weird Jade thing. Yeah. Where, you know, he has like a perversion about him that is, especially after telling Pino, like, he's watched these people grow up. Yeah. He's watched Mookie grow up. He's obviously seemingly watched Jade grow up.
Who is his younger sister, by the way. Yeah.
Jade grow up to be this young, beautiful woman that he's like being weird to. Yeah. And like acting in a sexual way to. And it like, as he like slowly reveals that he's all right, but he still like harbors a lot of like strange things and like maybe isn't the best guy ever. And then when he snaps over the music and you hear him say, he like refers to Public Enemy as jungle music, and Bugging Out's like, that pushes him over the edge, and he finally swings the bat and
says the N-word multiple times.
It's like it's a really, really powerful performance, and it feels kind of wrong to say Danny Aiello.
Right, totally.
Is like, I'm like, I watched Do the Right Thing. Danny Aiello is the best actor in it. Right. And I went into it wanting to say Turturro, because in the past watches through, I'm like, that is an insane role for John Turturro to be so good at being a racist. Yeah. And he's just like ungrateful son. He's like entitled. He feels like he dresses like he's got a little more swag than Vito. And he's almost like, I shouldn't even be working at this pizza restaurant, whatever. His friends laugh at him. And he does a great performance. But everybody else is so like minimal roles or like one of one. They don't have like the chance to represent anything other than like their community roles. You know, we have Mother Sisters, the wise old lady. We have the OGs who are like, make fun of the young guys, but they've been there, done that. You have Raheem, who's pretty much one-dimensional.
Yeah, you have Smiley.
You have Smiley, who's an awesome character that like is promoting the black leaders of the past and selling their pictures.
Just Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. First time watching it, I knew the pictures that he's selling of those guys, one of them's getting put on the wall. Yeah. That's just how... It's just set up that way. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you know that's going to happen. I do like the community interaction with a guy like that who obviously has, you know, his own issues. Yep. You know, Mookie's still paying him for the pictures or whatever.
I'll pay you later. He gets annoyed with him.
And then in moments he's like, get out of here, Smiley. He's like being mean to him, like, you know, and they're like, leave him alone. You know that boy ain't right.
Yeah,
like,
and Smiley plays a great role in the scene where Pino and Sal are talking. Yeah. Because he comes up and hey, how you doing? Is all nice. And Pino snaps like, get the fuck out of here.
It goes out there.
Yeah, it goes out there and starts a whole thing. That is like a famous stage actor. Spike Lee didn't write that character. He gave him the script and said, think of a character. Right. And the guy was like, got it. I'm going to be the guy that has a stutter and is like, you know, mentally challenged in some way. Yeah. Which is like a hell of a character to come up with. And it feels familiar in a way. Like, all the characters in this feel like there's no reaching.
No, it's fully formed community. Yeah. Like, you really feel like you're actually seeing the characters of a community.
You're not like, all right, why would this guy have a boombox?
Right.
You know what I mean?
You get a sense that everybody is where they're supposed to be and everybody knows each other.
Yeah. The only unrealistic thing to me is that Mr. Love Daddy is like narrating the idea of like a radio station being for a block. Right. That's like,
and that it's there and like just a kind of a window in the side of,
I think that serves as more of like,
and maybe we're wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, true. What 80s Brooklyn,
I don't know what New York was like then.
But like the fact he's like, I got my chicken parmesan with extra cheese from Sal. And then
Mookie, come say something.
Say something to the people, Mookie. Like, but it all that serves like kind of a surrealist purpose where I'm like, it's kind of just like a soundtrack track or a narrator in the back of your mind, like talking about it's someone else to acknowledge all these characters.
Yeah.
And that it works.
Instead of the movie having an actual narrator,
you have Samuel
get a
Jackson.
real, like you get somebody there.
Yeah, and
know?
who's a character that would exist in New York City at that time anyway. Samuel L. Jackson said he was the only guy to never go outside during the shooting of it. He said all he did was sleep on set because all of his scenes were just in that one room.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Spike Lee's fantastic in this movie.
He really is.
Samuel L. Jackson's fantastic in this movie. I just think that the character you see with the most to handle in terms of development is Danny Aiello's character, Sal.
I agree. Spike Lee's amazing in it, though. It's really, you forget he's Spike Lee.
Yeah.
I kind of had to like check myself a couple times during it and be like, that is Spike Lee, really just doing it and directing it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just as poignant now as it was then, if not more. I'd said there'd be less color in the clothes.
What do you mean by that?
Like, people don't wear flashy clothes. Like, everybody's in, like, bright 80s clothes.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at you.
Oh, yeah, I'm in all black today.
Yeah.
And brown socks is the only dash of color
We
I
don't
have.
wear neon anymore.
Right, but we don't live in Bed-Stuy.
Do you think people in Bed-Stuy wear neon?
It's impossible to know unless
It
you
is,
go
we'll
there.
never know. Yeah, we'd have to go.
We'd have to go there. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's different stories to tell, different reasons for tension. Like back then it was like, you know, George H.W. Bush.
Right.
You know, it was like a lot of shit going on that kind of led to the tension that existed at this exact time. And so, you know, the soundtrack obviously would be different and the conversations would be different.
Yeah.
But it's a time capsule
Yeah,
of an exact time.
Sadly, it like still works just as good now, you know?
Yeah, what it tells you and what it asks you and asks you to inspect, I guess, is the same.
Yeah, and it's still like a familiar struggle. It'd be more like people versus corporate, like the idea of like a family-run business being the enemy of any neighborhood now, I feel like is a little less familiar.
Yeah, I do think that the conversations around gentrification have kind of like expanded to that corporate level.
Right.
Like, you know, there's problems in Cincinnati with 3CDC.
Right.
And like these are big companies coming in and kind of taking over neighborhoods and changing them. It is not as much of a concept. And Detroit has kind of informed my opinions upon that because locally run businesses are mostly welcomed wherever we are in Detroit.
Yeah.
But, you know, the conversation around that has definitely shifted. So it is hard to imagine, but race relations, that conversation has not really changed.
Recast time, Riley. Let's recast Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, Riley.
All right, my recast is a joke. I want people to know that it is a joke. Jalen Brunson as Mookie, Timothy Chalamet as Pino, Ben Stiller as Sal, and Mamdani as DeMayer. And my bagel's Jewish. And all that stuff. And all that, and Bing Bong.
I just had some fun ideas here. I think Donald Glover would be a great bugging out.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think Io Adibri could be the Jade character.
Okay.
Let's do Ryan Coogler as Mookie, just a director playing the main.
Oh, yeah.
See how that goes.
All right.
And then Marshawn Lynch as Radio Rocky. Just the big stoic character in town.
Yeah, I don't love that you're casting a character to die by police
Doesn't
force.
have to.
Oh, okay. You want to change the entire plot.
Marshawn trucks him, goes beast mode on the cops.
Goes beast mode on the cops.
Yeah.
Okay. We could do kind of, there's like a shift.
Yeah, and I'll bring Ben Stiller over, and Ben Stiller and Io Adibri hook up.
What?
Yeah, it's nasty. The remake one is nasty.
I don't know if
it's fucked
they
up.
do they do the nasty.
They do the hooking up.
Okay.
It's sick.
It's called doing the nasty in the movie.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it sounds like our recast would be for do the wrong thing by making this movie.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Do the right thing too this summer. If it ever gets to that place, burn the theaters down. It is all Chuck D, pretty much. It's awesome. Flavor Flav's ad-libs have been haunting me since I can just hear it in the background. That song's crazy. Chuck D's, no one's ever rapped like him before. It's pretty awesome. And then I love the Can't Stand It song, like during kind of the heat wave montage.
Yeah.
That is like, it just hits, and it's like the reggaeton that like automatically thinks you picture like a hot island, but then seeing it in this concrete jungle setting.
Yeah, can't stand the heat.
Yeah, especially my racist friends.
Why do you have racist friends?
That's the joke. I don't.
I think you probably do.
Well, sure, everyone does. They're closeted, though. I have gay friends. I don't know it, but
You have, we have gay friends who are out. What is this? Yeah, you're friends with a lot of people. I feel like you're definitely friends with racists.
comes with the the territory, I guess.
You know what you should do?
What's that?
Plan a movie night.
Hey, everyone!
Let's do a movie night.
Yeah.
I don't want to be there, actually. You plan a movie night for you, and you invite your, 10 most racist friends.
How do I know, though?
Huh?
How do I know the ranking? Just like the guy.
By what they say. If you just pay attention to what they say.
Let's set it up. I'll have a NASCAR night, and then whoever comes to that while they're there, I'll invite them to a movie night.
I was going to say you do a double feature.
Okay.
So you start with something real white. Talladega Nights.
Sure,
Or,
yeah.
Tommy Boy.
Okay, yeah.
Have you seen Tommy Boy?
Yeah, I like it.
Tommy Boy, starring Chris Farley and David Spade. You start with that one, but you say it's a double feature, and then boom, Do the Right Thing comes on.
And whoever leaves.
Whoever leaves saying Mookie wasn't right for throwing the trash can, you cut them off completely.
Perfect.
Is that a good deal?
Yeah, it's fine. It's a lot of time.
It's not that much time.
5 hours.
How long is Tommy Boy?
Oh, it's 2.5, I think.
It's 2.5?
Yeah.
There's no way that
The director's cut.
I don't know about that. Random fact I learned this week, which is pretty crazy, is I didn't know that John Belushi and Chris Farley died the exact same way at the exact same age.
Coke?
No, speedball.
Oh, speedball.
They both died of coke and heroin.
Yeah.
And so a speedball at the age of 33, both while accompanied by a woman who left, and their last words were almost identical.
Huh.
John Belushi says, "Please don't leave me alone." And then that woman leaves. She ended up being charged. But Chris Farley, the girl he was with or whatever, he said, "Please stay. Please don't leave." And then he died a few hours later.
Rest in peace.
Crazy. It is crazy because that was Chris Farley's hero, is John Belushi.
Yeah.
But I just had no idea. Same age, same cause of death, same situation.
Yeah.
Just wild.
I wonder how the situation's going to die.
Hopefully old age.
Hopefully.
That's what I hope.
That's what I hope too.
I hope so. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars and wrote, "Lover since birth, I was born right-handed." It's the right hand of love.
Nice. I gave it 5 out of 5, and I said next time I go to my local pizza joint, I'm getting exactly what Mr. Senior Love Daddy orders.
Which was what? It was a chicken parmesan sandwich?
Chicken parmesan with extra cheese, extra sauce.
Oh, nice. I wonder if he got charged the $2. I feel like Sal might have cut him a deal or something because he's the
Sal doesn't listen to music.
That's true. He doesn't listen to anything.
No.
Yeah, it's just silent in a pizza place. That's actually strange.
That's painful.
Yeah, I should have known those boys weren't right.
Just the murmuring of slurs from your eldest son and the roar of the pizza oven.
Yeah, he really got an interesting thing going on. He's got one racist son, one not as racist son, and he himself is a mix of the two.
Yep.
Oof, it's tough. Fantastic movie. Shout out to everybody who voted for this movie, Do the Right Thing. If you want to vote on future movies that we talk about on How Did It Age, you can join our Patreon for only $5 a month or become a member on our main channel, HIVEMIND, by clicking the join button. You also get to see what movie we're talking about a week ahead of time. Sorry for the 1 week delay. Our editor was getting some much needed time away, and so we couldn't get this video out last Sunday, but there will be one out 2 Sundays from now. You will know what movie that is in about a week, but you can vote on it tomorrow. Boom. Shout out to everybody who's part of our movie club. We appreciate you so much. And we love when you recommend us movies, no matter how good they are. This movie happens to be fantastic, but we will talk about whatever. We are at your will.
Can we do the thing?
What is it that they do?
They're like, it's this.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah.
But
I don't
then
know
they
if we're allowed to
something
do
after.
that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe cut.
If not, let us know.
Pixelate that.
I think it looks cool, though.
Pixelate our hands for that.
All right, see y'all.
We have been HIVEMIND Unlimited. This is How Did It Age? Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye. My usual Thursday dinner spot has been co-opted by bikers.
There was a biker gang inside there?
Poster up as I walked in. Welcome, bikers. Every Thursday night is bike night. Parking lot blocked off with cones. Bikes only.
Really?
Yeah, I went in. There was free tattoos being given out. At first, I was like, oh, shit, this is going to be scary. And then it turned out to be very backyard biker type shit.
Okay.
They were old. Everybody's drinking NAs and sodas.
It wasn't like Hell's Angels.
Oh, it was chill as fuck.
Okay.
They were playing their own shitty music, no jukebox. But then a band was coming in and I left, but they were known as the Flying Crowbars. They're like, you're not staying for the world famous Flying Crowbars? And I was like, I have a feeling if they start, I'm going to be a biker. I was thinking of getting free beer tattooed on my knuckles.
Okay.
Because that's kind of cool.
I mean,
kind of in a Radio Raheem type homage.
Right. Yeah. So a free beer, do you mean free of charge, or do you mean beer's locked up and it needs to be be freed?
I think it'd be like I'd go to the bar and be like,
Okay.
give me.
And you think that they would do it?
If I look tough enough, yeah, I think so. I'd have to get some other tattoos for sure.
Yeah, knuckle tats is the first tattoo is a little insane, but